Welcome to another episode of Marketing School. I'm Eric Su.
And I'm Neil Patel.
And today we're going to talk about how to deal with Google's ever-changing algorithm. How do you deal with it? You know what the funny thing is? The last couple months have been good for us because traffic has been going up.
Man, I started going down now.
Maybe the stock market's going down. Maybe that's why the traffic goes down too. I'm not going down. I keep going up.
Have you checked in the last few days?
I went down yesterday, but I'm up. I went down 2 days ago, but I'm up yesterday.
A lot of people have been going down the last week or so.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I've been going up. But anyway, okay, so that's the positive side. The positive side is like, oh yeah, everything's great. Oh, let's dance, let's dance.
Well, no. The positive side is Eric's going up. The negative side is Neil's going down.
So how do you deal with it from a negative standpoint? So, let's say your traffic starts to tank, and we've had this happen to us before. Let's say Google algorithm update hits. What do you do? What have you done in the past?
I look at Search Engine Roundtable. They tend to cover the algorithm updates more than anyone else.
Yep.
I try to look at the forums from BlackHatWorld to Webmaster World, see what everyone's communicating about. And then from there, I try to dissect the changes that are happening and reverse engineer them. But in general, I know this sounds really bad, unless you see like huge tanks. If you see like a few percentage points, 5-10% here or there, in many cases, there's not a ton you can do. So the main strategy that you should deal with when it comes to Google's ever-changing algorithm, because it's just going to get worse and worse over time, is you need to diversify your traffic. Eric and I have talked about this so often, from the rule of 7 in marketing, in which when someone sees or hears about your brand 7 times, they're much more likely to convert, to discussing how you can't rely on one channel because Google has an algorithm, so does Facebook. Your Facebook reach at one point was amazing, now it sucks. So you got to do things like paid ads, Facebook, push notifications, SEO, content marketing, maybe even use growth hacking and build tools, which is what we talked about in our last episode. But by diversifying your strategy, you're much more likely to generate traffic in the long run, because small little things can throw you off. For example, when Facebook was growing heavily through emails, they saw a huge dip in traffic coming back to Facebook when Gmail released the promotions tab. Do you remember that?
Yep.
And a lot of Facebook's emails were just going to promotion tabs, and they're like, crap, there goes 30+% of their email traffic.
The other thing too is you can, from a defensive standpoint, maybe you just don't do the dirty stuff in the beginning and you won't get hit by an algorithm. And sometimes it's inevitable, like you've done everything right and you get hit. But, Neil and I have talked about trying, black hat things back, a long time ago. And what we said was easy come, easy go. So if you build on a very shaky foundation, the house is going to end up collapsing eventually. So what you want to do is you want to build a very strong foundation. We talk about all the time, strong content marketing coupled with a strong link building campaign. And yes, I agree with Neil, diversifying so you cover your ass, you protect yourself long term. So even if you get hit by Google, look, we've seen people lose their businesses completely overnight because they relied too much on Google. And Search Engine Roundtable has all these horror stories all the time. People from different Black Hat forums talking about how they lost everything and now they can't pay for their rent, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and when things are going well, just remember, it's not going to last forever. It doesn't matter what channel you are. It doesn't matter if it's SEO or Google or any of that, because eventually other people will figure out, they'll start copying you, and then that channel is not going to work as well. So make sure you're putting away, those eggs and storing them away for when the winter months come and things start getting harder. That's probably a terrible analogy.
Yeah, store your eggs.
Yeah, it's probably a terrible analogy, but you guys get the point. In general, what I found is when I've dealt with Google's algorithm that goes up or down, I find that most people, and I'm assuming you've probably seen this too, Eric, that typically get hit are the ones who don't focus on SEO. Like Eric and I know we had an episode about this in the past. We're supposed to try to do our on-page SEO and refresh it once a quarter. Mm-hmm. We don't, but we should.
Yep.
The other thing too is you need to update your old content. Like every year, go to all your content, double check to see if anything's old or outdated, redo it, clean it up. Like all these little things really do add up, and people don't do it. And that's why they get screwed over. And that's why people like Wikipedia constantly do well, because their community is updating it not every year, but literally daily.
Yeah, and don't spaz out if your traffic drops. Oh my God, it's a Google algorithm update. look at Search Engine Roundtable. Not only that, when you look at the algorithm updates, the reason why I like Search Engine Roundtable so much is they show different graphs from different SEO weather reports. So Moz has one saying, "Oh my God, it's stormy," which means like something big is happening. And that weather update basically is looking at a cohort of sites that they're monitoring across maybe perhaps different niches. But there's other tools that do this type of monitoring as well. And what that does is that helps you determine, you're looking at data from different sources, and you can determine whether you need to take any action or not. But typically, look, at the point when that's happened, a lot of really out of your control. So what you want to do before that is take control by having an omni-channel approach when you have the resources to kind of diversify.
The last thing for me is, if your traffic goes down, don't assume that you got penalized. Downwards traffic doesn't mean penalization. It just means Google doesn't like something that you're doing, which means that you can fix it. Penalizations, even if you fix everything, that's harder to get back in on their good graces and get a ton of traffic. But in general, don't assume that you're penalized. Typically, it just means that Google doesn't like something on your site that you can fix.
Great. So that is it for today. Before we go, we are going to throw a live event in downtown LA.
And we're getting closer and closer. The moment we get to 1 million listens a month, we'll throw the event for free. If you want to see where we're at, go to marketingschool.io/stats. And stats with an S?
Stats with an S.
So stats. And just click a few of the buttons from sharing, reviewing, liking. I kid you not, those little things help us get a lot more listens. So we appreciate it. Thank you very much. And we look forward to throwing a free event with food, tons of great information, a whole day event in Los Angeles.
Goodbye.